Welcome back to the Explainer, guys. So, if you've ever felt completely stuck in a rut, you've probably heard the standard advice, right? Oh, it takes 21 days to build a habit, or just give yourself a whole year to reinvent yourself. But what if that traditional, drawn out timeline is actually the exact thing holding you back? Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating and honestly radically intense framework from our source material that argues you absolutely do not need months to reset your life. You don't even need a week. The premise here is absolute and unapologetic. It literally only takes 24 hours. Just one single day of total, unwavering commitment to completely shift your trajectory. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this because this quote just totally flips the script on traditional self-help timelines. Our source material insists that we've all been heavily conditioned to believe transformation has to be this really slow, agonizing process. But this hits on the core philosophy of our explainer today. Transformation isn't actually about time at all. It's about a decision. It's about creating that one definitive moment where you stop lying to yourself and finally do what needs to be done. In fact, the author of this framework describes it not as a motivational exercise, but as a literal war. And to fight this war, the source lays out a strict 5-step battle plan for this 24-hour period. We're going to walk through exactly how this works today. We'll hit the overstimulation trap, move right into radical self-confinement, face confrontation and destruction, execute the warrior hour, and finally wrap up with the final resolution. So let's kick things off with step 1, the overstimulation trap, essentially drowning in modern noise. Now, before you can fix any problem, you've got to accurately diagnose it, right? Our source argues that the root cause of feeling stuck or lost isn't that you're fundamentally broken, it's that you are buried under noise. Now, what's really interesting here is how this framework calls out the excuses we constantly make. Like, when we reach for our phones the absolute second we feel a moment of quiet, we tell ourselves, oh, I'm just avoiding boredom. But the source drops a pretty harsh reality check here. If you literally cannot spend one day alone with your own thoughts, you aren't avoiding boredom. You're avoiding the truth. We always tell ourselves we just need more time to figure things out. But the reality? We don't need more time. We need more truth. And because we're constantly drowning in this digital noise, the human brain simply has zero space to think. There's no space to reflect and absolutely no room to breathe. I mean, you can't diagnose a problem when the fire alarms are constantly ringing in your ears, right? And that realization sets up the absolute necessity for the very first physical action of the day. Which brings us right to step 2, radical self-confinement, total withdrawal. So this is where the 24-hour reset officially begins, and it is an immediate, intense, and completely non-negotiable withdrawal from the outside world. The fastest way to find clarity? Go completely silent. For this single day, you have to cut it all off. No phone, no Wi-Fi, no social media, no scrolling, no texting. Absolutely zero distractions. It is just you and your own mind. The source emphasizes that by stripping away every single external voice, you're forced to finally face your own internal monologue. You are basically going into isolation to prepare for a reckoning. And once that noise is finally gone, we enter step 3, confrontation and destruction, facing your inner self. Now, this is where physical isolation transitions into some deep and frankly pretty uncomfortable emotional introspection. You've cleared the room. Now you actually have to look at what's inside it. The source introduces something called the mirror ritual. You are instructed to stand in front of a mirror and look directly into your own eyes for exactly 5 minutes. There's no background music playing to set the mood. There are no positive affirmations. It is just 5 minutes of absolute, unbroken stillness, staring right at yourself. And right in the middle of that stillness, you must ask yourself one single question. Who am I pretending to be? Seriously, just let that sit for a second. The source notes that when you ask this question for real, you'll actually feel a physical sting in your chest. And that sting, that is your real self waking up. It's this massive realization that you have been performing for the world, wearing a mask, and deep down, you've known it all along. This exact moment is the point where you stop being fake and finally get honest with yourself. And this brilliantly illustrates the next move. Once you break that gaze, you step immediately away from the mirror, grab a notebook, and dump out these 3 specific things. Number 1, the habits that are actively killing your potential. Number 2, the places or environments that are just draining your power. And number 3, the lies you continually tell other people just to be accepted. You put all that raw, unfiltered honesty right down on paper. But here's the kicker. You do not keep that paper. The source outlines this really cool concept of destroy to rebuild. Once you've written all those toxic things down, you have to literally tear the page up, burn it, or shred it. Why? Because while writing it out creates conscious awareness, destroying that physical piece of paper sends a massive, undeniable message straight to your subconscious. You're telling your brain that you are never, ever coming back to who you are. That old version of you, it dies today. All right, so with the old self symbolically destroyed, we ramp things way back up in step 4, the warrior hour, a total physical and mental shift. This is a super crucial 60-minute block designed to rapidly tackle the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of who you're becoming. The source breaks this hour down into 3 strict 20-minute timers. First up, 20 minutes to physically move your body and push your limits. It really doesn't matter if you're running, doing push-ups, or jumping into an ice-cold shower. Just exert yourself physically. Second, a 20-minute mental dump. You write down every single thing you're feeling with absolutely no filter and zero structure. Just let the chaos pour out onto the page. And finally, 20 minutes of pure spiritual existence. You just sit in absolute silence. No phone, no music. You literally just breathe and exist. And according to our source material, completing this intense, multidisciplinary hour sparks a definitive internal shift. By systematically shocking your body, clearing your mind, and then forcing total stillness, you're suddenly equipped with this profound sense of control, real internal power, and just an undeniable presence. You are finally fully awake. Which brings us to the end of the day in step 5, the final resolution, closing out the 24 hours. So, you've cut out the noise, faced a reflection, destroyed your old habits, and pushed your physical limits. As this crazy, intense 24-hour period comes to a close, this really grounded calm sets in. The framework culminates with the 9 p.m. rule. At exactly 9 p.m., you return to that mirror for one final quiet confrontation. But this time, it's totally different. There are no harsh questions to ask. There's no stinging realization in your chest. You simply look at yourself and say, "Thank you for showing up." And the source highlights something incredibly powerful right here. In this moment, you aren't demanding perfection. You aren't even demanding visible progress yet. You're just acknowledging the incredibly rare gift of giving yourself one single day of full, honest intensity. I mean, think about it. Most people go their entire lives without giving themselves a single day where they didn't run, didn't hide, and didn't lie to themselves. And that brings us right back to the core thesis of this entire explainer today. You aren't broken. You never actually were. You were just buried under layers of modern comfort, paralyzing fear, and endless digital noise. This framework argues that one deeply focused day can completely change the trajectory of your entire life. And hey, it's not because you magically became someone brand new in just 24 hours. It's because for the very first time, you finally stopped performing for the world. You stopped pretending. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the exact challenge presented by our source material today. Think about all that noise in your own life, the excuses you make about time, the habits that are just draining you dry. Are you finally ready to stop pretending? Your 24 hours are right there in front of you waiting. It's just up to you to take them.